Hello, everyone. Prof Sales.
And Karin, really closer than normal.
I told her, I said, don't forget about the mic right there. And she goes, I don't know.
They can't see it. I can see it.
Yeah, the mic's right there. But anyway, so how's everybody doing? Is another day here on the Big Prof Sales channel, the big show. And it is Friday, January 5th, 2017, and we are off and running. Somebody's asked if it was a 2-hour special today. Not that I'm aware of. So,
but we could do that if you want, because I have to take pictures. We could make the last part of the video me just picture after picture after picture.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're here in what is soon to be snowy Charlotte, and it is Snowmageddon is on the way.
I wish I had sent you I wish we had planned to show the pictures, but I had to go to the grocery store anyway. It's my day, and it was crazy. I've never seen lines like that. I grew up in South Florida, so we had a lot of hurricanes, and when people would panic for the hurricanes, it was the same thing. Milk, bread, water, the essentials, and lines would be out the door. But I was shocked when I saw it today.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works. When here in the South, as some of you may know, when it snows, everyone goes absolutely out of their minds.
Heck, when it rains,
yeah,
people forget how to drive.
We're supposed to get some snow. I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 inches. Who knows? But we're stocked up. You know, I guess we bought into it too. You just went and spent a buttload of money at the grocery store.
Well, a girl's got to eat.
So we're ready for the weekend. We're ready for the snow. There'll be plenty to do. We got a lot to talk about today, so let's get right into it. So first things first, last night's show, if you guys didn't catch it, we had Dawn and Tino on, 2 people who are not brand new necessarily to reselling, but brand new to YouTube. And I don't know how many of you guys saw the show last night, but I thought it was a really good show.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So it was really cool to hear some people that you hadn't heard before that, you know, were talking about their particular successes and struggles in business and where they were coming from. And they had 2 different stories on how they got involved in this. And if you guys haven't seen that video, check it out. I mean, it's really good. I think we'll probably have both of them back on at some time in the not so distant future to check in and so on. But
well, and to get an update, because you know, Dawn in particular, she shared with us her goals for the year.
Yeah.
And more importantly, how she's going to get there. So I'd really like to keep track with that. I thought it was a really cool Me Too kind of moment, you know, because there's a lot of us out there that are doing this, and it was a great different perspective. I loved it. I loved both of them. It was a lot of fun. And I got to eject someone, which is always good fun, right?
Karin loves the eject button. But yeah, she was awesome. Tino was awesome as well. And, you know, Tino has talked about doing some shoe videos going forward. We'll see if he starts a channel or not. I'll definitely help him out with that. And it was great. We connected Dawn with someone in Colorado with Yvonne to connect, and because they live fairly close to each other. So, you know, it's always good to make friends in the community, I think.
And, you know, I was going to say but when I go to visit Yvonne, you know, I have a very good friend that lives near Colorado Springs. So it can be a business pleasure business trip. Sorry,
I had to say hi to my niece who's in the chat.
Oh, very nice. Hi, Katie.
So
is it snowing there yet?
Yeah, Katie's in Virginia, so it may snow there too. Who knows? But we, you know, that particular format, guys, just so you know, we connect. We're going to do more of that. I've got more people who have signed up and want to be on, and I'm in the process of figuring out. I know I've probably gotten about 10 or 12 emails from people who say, oh yeah, I want to be on. So it's just coordinating the days and getting people together and kind of matching people up with maybe, you know, someone else who will be kind of a good compliment to them. I think it was a good compliment last night with the 2 people we had.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So we're definitely going to have other people on. I plan to do it for the next 3 Thursdays. Next week, we already have 2 shows lined up. So next week is like Showmageddon. See what I did there?
Profmageddon.
And so it's Snowmageddon, it's Showmageddon. So there'll be a bunch of shows next week, which will be cool. And we'll get more people on, new people you haven't heard of, people who are in the same boat you're in, maybe, who sell what you sell, who've done what you do. And I think it's always interesting to meet new people.
Oh gosh, yeah. And we had a lot of the questions last night were from people that are just curious, shoe curious they were. And he had a lot of great information. I mean, somebody that's been doing it that long. I mean, we had people asking questions about shoes that are far from shoes. So that was really neat. Yeah.
So it was a great show. Can't wait to do the next one. And look for that next week on Thursday. So it should be a lot of fun. Speaking of shows, Karen was on a show.
I was on a girl show.
Whose show were you on?
I was at the Big Y, Yvonne Flippin' Easy. Yo, yo, yo. It was fun.
It's Friday.
Yvonne's
I don't know
awesome.
what's going on. Yeah, so you were on Yvonne's show.
Mm-hmm.
That was Yvonne's first show she did. Like, she's done some videos, but that was her first show, I think.
No, it was her first live show.
Her first live show, so.
Because she does the stew.
Yep. Oh, right. But I mean on her channel.
Yeah.
On her channel.
And it was live, and it went off pretty much without a hitch.
Yeah, that was great because it was the title of the show was about sort of the significant others behind, reselling, like when you're involved with your significant other and they're a reseller and what that's like. And Gretchen, who is married to Ronnie, was on the show.
Yeah, she was delightful.
Who else was on it?
Daphne. That's Rockstar's mom.
Rockstar Flipper's mom was on the show. So that was pretty cool too. And that was unexpected because his girlfriend, or what, I'm not sure if it's girlfriend or wife, but she was supposed to be on, but she got sick.
Yeah.
And couldn't make it. So unfortunately, but fortunately, Mama Flipper.
Mama Rockstar, I think is
Mama Rockstar. She filled in. So
and she was a champ, man. She
knew her stuff too. I was like, man, she is on it. But that was really cool. And so check that out too, guys, if you haven't seen, not just because Karen's on, because Yvonne's a friend of the show and she's here. Yvonne Flipping Easy. You can, hit her name and go to her channel. And I know she's starting to just put out some content. So check that out as well. And it was really a good time. I know Karen really liked it.
I did.
eBay and the better half of reselling. There you go. There's the title. I knew I'd get it here in a minute. Lots of people in the chat already. Henry's here, Yvonne's here, Rhonda Allen, Matt R, Chrissy, I guess. Wicked Picker, Sadie's here. What's up? Lauren is here.
Turtle, Henry, Hank.
Heather.
Lauren. Did you say Lauren?
Lauren, yep, it said Lauren. And I don't know, I'm probably missing somebody. So, but if you're here in the chat, thank you guys for showing up with us today. We're trying not to prof you out too much here. I don't think there'll be any shows this weekend.
Did you just say prof you out?
Yeah.
This from the man who's having 10 shows or 10 things?
Well, it's not really 10, but I haven't done many shows lately, so this is kind of fun. I go through these phases, but we'll see what happens. All right, so first kind of topic of the day is, and of course, guys, if you have questions, you can type in the chat. We'll try to catch them and answer them if we can. First question of the day, or first topic of the day, is about systems manual. Wow, that's a boring, man, I could have come up with a better title than that, couldn't I?
Well.
Really anything would have been a better title, a systems manual.
Well, it is what it is. It's the way we do.
So Karen and I got in an argument.
Oh, that's how we're going to start this part out. Okay, he gave me a heads up we were going to be talking about it, but.
Well, we did. And we got in an argument about how we do things because, we've talked about hiring someone over the last, few weeks and so on. But we've realized before we hire someone, you have to be able to just come on in. It's better if you just come on. So before you hire somebody, though, guys, you have to know what they're doing, what you want to have them do. And we've realized that Karen and I have different ways of doing things, for sure. We have different approaches, and she handles a different part of the business than I do in a lot of respects, although there's some overlap. But we find out the friction occurs when we get in each other's area. Well, really just me getting in your area because you kind of never get in mine.
Pretty much.
So it's really my fault. But aside from that, we realize that like when we do stuff, we sometimes do it differently from day to day. And because of that, there's uncertainty in what our day is going to look like, because maybe we start out thinking, all right, we're going to, like the other day, I was already quality controlling some jeans, and she got miffed because that's usually what she does. And then she hands them to me, and I put them in the inventory before they get listed, and they still need photos and so on.
All right, may I interject?
Absolutely.
Because that's not exactly what happened. So we decided to do things differently. And that meant that we were going to quality control. Then we were going to check them in, bag them and tag them is what I call it. And then it would come back to be photographed.
Right.
And one of us will get ahead, one of us will get behind. So then we just didn't stick to it. We made a change and then we didn't. And that drives me crazy. So I didn't get miffed at that. I just, if we're going to make a plan, let's try to stick to it.
Yeah, you're right.
We even put stickers. We even designated where certain things were going to go.
Yep. And I think that's part of it, guys, because I realized that I read something the other day that made a lot of sense. It said, when you're thinking about your business, be an owner, right? When you're thinking about it, when you're thinking about where you're going, what you're doing. When you're working in your business, be an employee. And that's an interesting distinction. And I think what the distinction is that if you have a set task or number of tasks you have to do in a day as an employee, do them, but don't try to be an owner about them and thinking about them in a big scale. Because when you do, you start thinking about, well, what if I did this, or what if I did that? And really that's the kind of stuff that in the moment you don't need to be thinking about. You need to be thinking about what you're doing, right? So like if you hire somebody, let's say you run a store and you hire somebody to run a cash register, okay? And they're running the cash register, ringing people up and taking their money and handing them their goods and putting it in bags. And maybe that person's got some ideas about how the cash register area could be organized better, right? The time for them to tell you that is not when they have a line with 10 people in it. The time for them to tell you that is when they're on a break, or before they come in the morning, or sometime when it's not that busy, or when they don't have a bunch of people to ring up, because that's their job. It's the same thing with us. Like I realized, like when you were talking about the pictures on the table, it's like Karin wanted to take pictures in a different area. And so I started micromanaging the picture process and looking at the pictures and saying, well, what if you did this? What if you did that? When really I was supposed to be doing something totally different. And I told you, it's like, hey, go ahead and run with this and let's see what comes of it. And she's right. But I realized that a lot of times we don't have like a set process for how we do things. Mm-hmm. And it leads to uncertainty. I mean, if you guys ever worked somewhere where you had a boss and they told you to do something, but then the next day they told you to do it differently. And the next day they told you to do it differently. And the next day they told you, and by the end of the week, you don't even know what the heck you're supposed to do, right? It's like, well, what do you really want me to do? Mm-hmm. And that's very frustrating for an employee. And it's also frustrating for you as an owner when you're acting as an employee in your business, when you've got all this uncertainty about what you should be doing. So we decided we would come up with a manual for everything we do in the business. And when I mean a manual, I mean like if Karin is checking in jeans, this is like you start by looking at the front and you first go across the belt loops, and then you take the zipper and work it twice to make sure, whatever it's going to look like, it's going to be detailed. And it's going to be detailed for us, but also then when we hire somebody, guys, they're going to know from day one exactly what to do. There's not going to be this ambiguity of, because you could just write on a piece of paper, you could say, hey, just check the jeans and see if they're okay. Well, what does that mean? What does that look like? And the other thing I think we'll find when we do this is it'll become clearer in our own heads what we do. Like I think anytime you're trying to teach something, which effectively when you're writing a manual, you're trying to teach somebody you haven't even met yet how to do it, it gets stronger in your own mind. Like you learn it better yourself. You really hone in on what makes sense and what's necessary and what's not. You're giving me a look.
So here's the way I look at it. And I thought about it this morning. And somebody said there's too many cooks. Yeah, two chiefs are butting heads right now is what's going on here. But I thought this morning that maybe you'll hire somebody and train them the way you want to train them and they can help you. and I'll hire somebody and train them the way I want to train them, and they can help me.
But as long as they do it by whatever the set procedure is, right?
Yeah. And, we've both hired and fired people over the years.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it's important, with anybody that comes on, to explain what the finished product needs to be, and then work backwards from there. Because like my problem is always, tell me what to do, but give me some freedom to get there. I don't want to necessarily do it your way. I don't know that I'm always capable of doing it exactly your way.
That'll be your employee.
Well, and we've even talked about with listing,
right.
They can do it a different way. They can maybe even do it a better way, but it's not necessarily, as long as X, Y, and Z get checked.
Right.
People just get there. Some people hit enter, and some people hit tab and return. I mean, there's, or they double click, or,
Someone mentioned, admin said, a manual is a great idea. I would make a video tutorial. That is part of it.
Yeah, we talked about that too. The videos, visual learners.
Yep. An audible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we talked about having a video too. That would be, and we might even be able to share some of that, I guess, if it's relevant to this. But did Lawrence ask about, do we have? No, Yvonne wants to know if we have morning meetings.
We don't, Yvonne, and that's probably not a bad idea, but we have committed to making more of a schedule and saying, all right, this block of time, we're going to do this. She's going to do this. I'm going to do that. This block of time, I'm going to do this. She's going to do that. And that got blown right out of the window today, which was the first day. And the reason it got blown out of the window is because of the snow. We realized we were a little short on food, strangely enough, and we had to make some plans to scramble a little bit to fix that. But ultimately, I think that's a great idea to kind of talk about the day and just, have a moment to, because I think when you wing it every day, guys, things get missed and you get distracted and pulled away to whatever seems urgent, but is not really significant. There's that urgent and significant comparison again. What's going to have the most impact on your business in the long run? But I think a morning meeting is not a bad idea.
Yeah, because right now when we have conversations, it's as a result of something happening or not happening or going wrong. And then we sit down and it's like, okay, what are you going to do today? What's on your agenda today? And that's kind of how it's happened, right?
Right. And it's gotten like that. And, again, if we were employees of this business, which effectively we are, there would be a scheduled time we would come in, and there'd be scheduled work we were supposed to do, and there'd be a scheduled time we'd leave. I mean, that's what the job would look like. And though we're not buying ourselves a job, sometimes you have to treat certain parts of your business like you have a job so that it can get done. And also, so you need to be able to do that too, so you can train somebody and show somebody else down the road how to do it. And if I come in and say, hey, replicate me, but I'm all over the place, and one day I do this, and one day I do that, what's that person going to think? That's not going to make any sense to them. All right. So anyway, a couple other questions here. Prof, do you have a set weekly budget for sourcing? Jet, no, not so much a budget as more a item goal, basically, to hit. And that's kind of been in flux a little bit over the last couple of weeks. But ultimately, we know we need to try to list around 400 minimum items per month, and preferably more like 6 to 8. So when you think about that and how much we pay per item, that's probably like 600 would be somewhere around $3,000 a month. Somewhere. So I guess it kind of works out to that, but I don't start out with thinking, I'm going to spend exactly this. Although that's not a bad idea to have that kind of budget for Amazon, especially if you're doing FBA. Say, I'm going to go out and spend this much money.
So Krillin suggested that we stop watching the news, and I think Krillin has suggested that before. Yeah, we don't. We're not doing, well, Facebook we kind of have to because of some of the stuff that the shows and the links and everything, but we're not watching the news anymore. We're not social media-ing. So.
Right. Chad in the house says, I am all over the place, but I don't tell people to do it like I do. I don't think anybody can do it like you do, Chad. So that's probably a good idea. And it kind of depends on, your personality too. But if you're going to scale your business, guys, and you're going to bring somebody as an employee, like Tino was talking about last night, you heard what he said. I mean, he had a set number of tasks for each of those employees, the 2 employees he has, and they know that. Because if they don't know that, guys, they can't read your mind. They're not a business owner. They're not going to have the same level of accountability to recognize things. They're just going to come in and do the job that you hired them to do. And if they don't know what that job is, then they're probably just going to do nothing and goof off, honestly, because they're going to be unsure what to do. So anyway, Ascotch. Yeah, and it's funny. Golden finger in the house. Let's see. Yeah. Thanks for that, Katie. Yep. About working on making your business a priority before you get on other things like your phone, social media, and so on. And it's true. It does help. Okay. So show topic. I want to talk about that. Before I do that, though, I want to say we've got how many people watching? 41 people watching. Thank you guys for that. We love having you guys here on a Friday afternoon. Karin, what do you suggest those 41 people do if they like what they're hearing?
On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, smash that like button. Just smash it.
I thought that was going to be a different finger there for a moment. I'm like,
nope.
I'm not sure we can show that on YouTube.
I need a new accent. I was thinking about, smash it. Just
All right.
smash it.
All right, so I'm going to show you guys something here. This is the show topic, and I put on the show topic how to make 4,000 on eBay, and I guess it's a little clickbaitish, but really, I couldn't believe, okay, let me back up. Those of you who have been with me a while know I have not been a big fan of the bins, right? I have not been a fan of the bins for a couple reasons. One, they were really nasty and disgusting here. And 2, I just didn't like the whole process. Digging through big heaps of clothing.
And for those that don't know, bins are the Goodwill outlet stores, not what happens to you when you rise too quickly from scuba diving.
Right. Exactly. That's the bins, like the BEN.
Yeah, I know.
But I have started recently going to the one here in Charlotte, and have found I kind of had a eureka moment last night, and I don't know why it took me so long to figure it out. Maybe because I just didn't think about it, because I'd kind of put the bins out of my head. But as some of you know, we've been going to the bins lately and buying clothing. So I'm going to walk you through something that I figured out. Let me see if I can pull up my page here. All right, so let me go back to that.
Can you share? Are you going to share it?
Hopefully I'll be able to share this. And let's see. All right. So I want to show you guys something. So you should be seeing this screen on the page. So yesterday, I tried a little experiment. I weighed 10 pair of jeans because I wanted to get a nice average. They came out to about 13.78 pounds, which is 1.37 pounds a piece. There's that prof math. The reason I did that is because at our bins, we pay $1.49 a pound or $2.05 per jean if you figure the average jean weighs this. All right? At the regular Goodwill, we pay $5.35 per pair of jeans. That means the jeans at the bins are $3.30 cheaper per pair. Now, that's a huge number. Mm-hmm. That's a huge number when you're talking about a $5 item. So then I got to thinking, well, we started this challenge back in July. And since July, I've sold 1,308 pair of jeans. Like, we've been tracking the number, and I'll show you the spreadsheet here in a moment. And I knew kind of from that point, just doing the math in my head, that meant if every pair that we sold had been bought at the bins, I would have realized $3.30 more profit per pair, or $4,316. That fact, guys, hit me like a sledgehammer. Because I couldn't believe that. I thought, I have cost myself $4,316 or $719 a month, guys. And by the way, that's after my cost of goods. Now, of course, I'd have, my taxes and so on to come out of that. But the other thing is, too, I would have spent less money to start with. So I would have had more sourcing capital because I would have paid less for these items. So I could have done it more often. I could have made $700 a month more over these past 6 months. It's been about 180 days just by sourcing a different way. The same item, just at a different location. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, of course, Prof, if you can buy your item for less money, then, you have been buying it, you're going to make more money on it. Well, duh. Yeah, I get that. But this is a big difference. And I don't know if I could have sourced 1,300 jeans in those 6 months from the bins, but I kind of think I could have. That's only a couple hundred a month, which is not really that many when you think about it. And my stubbornness and unwillingness to hit the bins for what is my bread and butter item and save myself, $3 a pair, over $3 a pair, cost me $4,000, guys. $4,000 that, you could have made would have been just as good as $4,000 you had made if you'd gone ahead and done it. And I just didn't do it. And, the moral of the story is that, man, don't be so stubborn about how you run your business and how you source. I mean, this is like proof positive. You guys have been tracking the challenge, and I'm not showing something here that puts me in a great light. I mean, it basically says, hey, dummy, if you wouldn't have been so stubborn about going to bins to find jeans, you could have pulled off another $4,000 in profit. So my question to you is, and we'll go back to the screen. My question to you is, what are you doing right now in your business that's costing you money, or you're not maximizing your profit? I just showed you a way I could have put $4,000 more in my pocket. That's $8,000 in the course of a year, roughly. $8,000 to do exactly what I've been doing, just at a different place. Just at a different place. What are you doing right now that could put $4,000 in your pocket if you did it differently? Or if you stopped doing something? And I had to let go of my I don't know, my prejudice against the bins, if that's the right word. But guys, I did that. And I was like, man, that was dumb, but I've evolved. I've already started looking on the Goodwill site. And if you go to goodwill.org, not your local Goodwill site, your local area, but goodwill.org, you can search for outlets, and you can put in your state and find all the outlets in your state. And we've got 3 of them in North Carolina, and it looks like we have 3 in South Carolina that are all within 2.5 to 3 hours drive, more or less. They are now officially all on the sourcing trips that we will be taking. All of them, for sure. Because that is just money in my pocket. And I think some of those bins, the prices might even be lower than ours.
Yeah, they are.
So I got to say, guys, don't be so stubborn. I mean, I was stubborn, and it was a mistake, and it cost me $4,000. It cost me $4,000. Any way you look at it, it cost me $4,000. And it could have even cost me more than that, because I maybe could have sourced even more items from there that would have been cheaper. I'm not saying that you all have to go out and hit all the bins. And I know some of you don't have bins near you, but I bet you have something comparable. I bet you have somewhere or some way to get your product that you haven't thought of that's cheaper than how you're getting it right now. Or maybe you can get it in a mass quantity, so you don't have to take as much time to get it. There's something you're doing right now or not doing that you can improve. I guarantee it. No one's running a perfect business where they do everything and just hit it out of the park. So
an amazing thing just happened here, and everybody online with us got to share in it.
Lord.
Do you know what that is? The teacher became the student. Grasshopper, I'm so proud of you. But I mean, that's how, and everybody sort of, it's funny, Mike said he would yell at you through his computer. But I mean, that's how.
Why is he yelling at me exactly?
Because he was one that said bins, bins, bins. And we just, our first couple of experiences were dreadful.
Yeah,
but it's like, I look at it like business, like as you learn your business, it's kind of like being the parent of a teenager. Sometimes you have to just let them go out there and make the mistakes on their own.
You just compare me to a teenager.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother show topic.
I think she's giving me too much credit.
But, you just have to, and not, everybody that's doing mad volume here in this chat right now, they didn't just start out that way. every single one of them will tell you. They'll tell you
Right.
a couple of things that are consistent. One, it's hard work. You're not going to get there without, I don't know what that's
Doesn't
probably,
matter.
right. You have to work hard. And I didn't start out doing as well as I'm doing now. And I would even venture to say that not everybody that's in this business is still doing it either the way they did when they started,
Right.
or even selling the same things they
Right.
did when they first started.
Right. I totally agree. And, I'm one of these people that you have to prove it to me with numbers a lot of times before I'm going to believe it. And I proved it to myself with my own numbers, which, what am I going to say? And I know they're right because I've kept them. And I started thinking about that, guys. Right now, who couldn't use another $700 a month in their pocket? And that's just if you're doing the volume I'm doing. Like I can use it. And honestly, if you're doing bigger volume or you've got more listings up and you're selling through more, that number could be much higher. It could be 2, 3, 4 times that amount. So you could be costing yourself a rent payment or a house payment every month in what you're not doing or doing because you haven't found a better way to source your product. Obviously where you source your product is everything. And, I've seen the light on it. There will definitely be other things we will still source. I'll still source from the local stores. Don't get me wrong. But now my cost of goods sold is going to drop. It's going to drop dramatically. Where it's been averaging up about a little over $5, it's now probably going to drop down to like 3 something. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of extra money in the pocket, guys.
Well, and then there's that one trip, whatever area we go to, where the jeans are even less. Like what? The last trip we did, the jeans, the GTCs were even less money.
Yeah.
So that'll have an effect on it too. So we'll make it. And that was the weekend that we did the 300. We bought the 300 pair, right?
Right.
So no sales tax, and it costs a bunch less. So, and there's a bins in that area. So there you go.
And too, guys, if you go out on a different strategy like this, there's going to be a little bit of a growing pains period, right? You're going to go in there and you're going to source a different way or a different spot. I remember the first time I walked into a pawn shop to source it, I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect, And then you go in a time or two and you're like, this is no different than anything else. I can do this. So if you start sourcing a different way and in different locations, it's going to be a learning curve. You're not going to necessarily hit it right out of the park the first time. And if you don't, that's okay. But you're going to learn and you're going to evolve, and hopefully you're going to improve your business. And Car and I were talking about last night, like, how do we make sure that we hit, how do we hit a bins? Like, how do we hit a store and make sure we've gone through enough of it to really make a difference?
It involved a hand-drawn diagram.
I drew,
so everyone knows.
I don't think I have that still. I have a diagram somewhere, and it was pretty bad drawing. I gotta say, it was not good. But we started talking about how do we go through and make sure that you hit all the tables. One thing we talked about last night, though, with that strategy is, and someone else can chime in because I am just a bins newbie, I guess. But I would like to hear if anybody else has got an opinion on this. I don't think that what they're pulling back out, when the bins, they pull a few tables off, they put some new tables out, but all those items that are coming out are not necessarily new items that have never seen the sales floor. I think they've got to be recycling items in the back. Otherwise, what are they going to do? Put items out for a few hours and then take them off the floor and never deal with them again? I guess it's possible, but that doesn't seem very efficient. They're trying to create excitement by putting out new items, which I get. But if somebody knows the answer to that, let me know. But I just feel like that the bins tables that are coming out of the back room are not necessarily only new items that have never seen the sales floor. Some of them have to be the recycled items that were on the sales floor at an earlier time. And anyway, if you guys know the answer to that, let me know.
Yeah, we don't wear gloves either.
Yeah, we don't wear gloves. Somebody said, how many stores does PROF have? I guess you mean bin stores. We have 3 in North Carolina that are all within driving distance, and there's 3 in South Carolina. The one in Charleston's a little further. That's probably a good 3 hours. But it's Charleston. So if you've never been to Charleston, it's a cool place to visit. So we will still hit it.
Do they mean how many eBay stores do you have?
No, I don't think so.
Huh.
And Spikey says, yeah, they definitely recycle the bins. Right. And I mean, they're trying to create excitement by pushing out new merchandise, you know, or giving you the appearance of new merchandise, that it's that. So that's all they're really doing. But, you know, it's still, we'll probably just go through and just run through the tables and hit the ones they push out.
So since we've already said that we have different ways of viewing just about everything. So the next time we go to the bins, we're going to have different strategies, right?
Right.
So we're still going to cover it all and be as thorough as possible. My strategy is, once again, grab all the thingies. In my case, the denim thingies. And then we'll sort it out and we'll figure it out and we'll stay there for a couple hours and we'll do as best we can. You know, because that last trip that we made, that last rollout, see, I'm not a noob anymore. I know the words.
Yeah.
The terms of the trade. So that last rollout that we did, that's how I found those 2 pair of men's big stars.
Yeah.
And then that gorgeous 7-fam full length skirt, right?
Yep. Yep.
So.
And you know, guys, they I was responding to a question. Now I can't find it, but they recycle the shoe bins for sure. Yeah, I mean, you know, the title of this show was How to Make $4,000 on eBay. And guys, it's really not that complicated, because yeah, you could just sell things and make $4,000, but so many of you are already resellers for the most part. It's really just examining the ways in which you get merchandise and of course what you get. But, you know, Tino last night made the point that he suggested you get a niche. And I think that's true too. I suggest that when you first start out, going wide just ends up getting you frazzled, and you have to keep an eye on way too many things. I think when you do that, if you try to get too many categories, I would narrow it down. And the bins represent a great way to do that. Like, we can go through and just pull the denim. Denim's great in the bins because you can see it. It's a big item. It's blue for the most part, so it sticks out. Imagine that. And you can just kind of pull it out from under a big stack and get to it very quickly. And you can look over a table very, very quickly and see if they have it or not.
Well, and you know, suit coats are easy, just fabrics. And we talked about, you know, when Tiffany said when they do their turbo sift through the bins, they're looking for color, texture.
Right.
And that's the first thing that's going to get their attention.
So
if you're the shoe guy, you go to shoes. If you're the hat guy, the belt guy, or gal for that matter, you know, that's what you're drawn to.
Right. And we do know, guys, that our particular bins in Charlotte is not just stuff that came from the other stores. It's just donations. Like, it's brand new donations that have never even hit the other stores. And there might be some from the stores too, but it's not all stuff that's sat in the stores for a while and then got shipped to the bins. It doesn't work that way.
Isn't that like distribution central right there? Isn't it one of the distribution
it's one of them.
centers?
And they just have so much stuff in these bigger areas like this.
Oh, I know. What? Remember when we went, our bins also has like a boutique store. And we'll joke about that a lot, where instead of being a love rack, it's a love room. And we found they had a bunch of, you know, somebody must have gone out of business. They got a big donation, whatever, but a bunch of new Levi's 500 series with tags, new men's jeans, tons of them. And what was the retail on them? Like $60 or something?
Probably.
Right? And they wanted 20, I think, in the boutique.
Yeah.
And after we were at the bins, we actually had lunch, and then we went to another just regular Goodwill. And I found a pair of the same exact 500 series jeans for $4.99 or whatever. Same thing, not in a love rack. So, you know, they're still putting them out there. And that's why I think we're able to, it's not only, I think one of the good things about our Goodwills is that we do have distribution, and they're not relying only on local deliveries.
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's critical. And, you know, guys, we've said this before. If you live in an area that doesn't have great sources of inventory for your business, and you really want to make this a full-time endeavor, and you're struggling to get inventory, I would consider moving. I mean, I know that sounds radical, but, you know, people move for jobs all the time. What's the difference in moving for your business? I mean, if there's some other town that's 60 miles away that's going to meet your needs for your business to source it, move, or consider moving closer. I mean, if that's really what you want to do, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. I mean, you may have other reasons for staying where you're at, but if you can do it effectively and efficiently and, economically, then it's absolutely a great life decision. I mean, you'll be happier. I mean, who wants to drive 2 or 3 hours every day to get inventory? I mean, that's a huge time suck, and so should consider that. Like, if you're not close to what it is you're sourcing, get closer to it. I would absolutely recommend that to somebody. But
and we've talked about, we'll move here at some point, and I think we'll probably stay close to this area. It doesn't make sense to move out of. We like it here, and we know from talking to a lot of folks that we have good prices in our regional.
Great prices on clothing, sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if we were somewhere else, the clothing might be more expensive. Like Atlanta, it's more expensive, so we'd have to reconsider what we source.
Mm-hmm. But Lauren said that we're making her want to go to the bins.
Well, Lauren's going to the bins.
and here's the thing: don't knock it until you try it, right?
Right.
And with these bins, we know that there's money there, and I think Yvonne even said, have your niche, but don't necessarily. We're not going to leave money on the table. None of us are suggesting that by any means.
Right.
But try it. If other people are saying that it's working, give it the old college try. And if it's still not for you, whatever. Like for me and Mike, no matter how much yelling you do from, your computer that I can't hear, dumpster diving, not for me.
Nope, not going to do that.
Not going to happen.
Dangerous.
And we never said never on the bins. I was always open to it.
Right.
And now we've changed our mind. But jumping in a trash can, I can honestly say.
I might reach and grab something that's on the top maybe if I just saw it that was amazing, but there's some danger there. You got to be really careful. I mean, dumpsters can have hidden sharp edges. There can be all kinds of nasty things in them. And, King said the first time at the bins was trash for me. I get it, King. I had the same it wasn't the first time. It was like the first 4 or 5 times for me, and I just gave up. I mean, I got a little, but I didn't get hardly anything. But when they changed it, moved it to a different area, I don't know. It's like it changed everything for me, just the perception of it and everything. But yeah, and nobody is allowed to move to this area and come to our bins. By the way, we don't need more competition. So.
That's not true. There were probably 20 resellers, and we talked about.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of resellers.
It's mostly resellers, right? And that's why you have to.
Most of them don't like jeans.
No, and that's why you have to grab all the thingies.
Yeah.
And it was remarkable because that's what the people that do this, I guess we're going to be those people now.
Yeah.
But they just go whomp, 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 and grab all the thingies. That almost sounded like my Chewbacca dying goat impression.
No, it didn't.
Okay, so you want to do spreadsheets? Let's do spreadsheets.
Let's do the infamous spreadsheet, and we'll show you guys our results for because I haven't shown them for probably a week. So let me show you where I'm at. Sales have been fairly low lately. You can see here my last few days since the beginning of the year. That's a total of maybe $500 and some, $540. Not a lot. We've been getting some listings up, but not a great total.
We really need to update those photos. I'm taking pictures.
Yeah. Karin is taking photos here, guys, by the way. But I didn't put them in for December, but she did. Oh, actually, I did put them in for December.
Looks like I'm slacking.
She's
not.
So it's been a kind of a slow month. Although as we started listing back some, we have seen a little bit of a pop, but nothing huge to write about. Jeans by month, this month we are at 566 on jeans, netted 252, which is actually a really high net percentage. And some of that, the reason that net percentage is higher, guys, is because some of those jeans that sold were the $3.80 jeans that we got, or were they $3.80 or $3.35? I can't remember.
Which ones?
In Raleigh, maybe $3.80. They were lower.
Yeah.
But so that net percentage has gone up a little bit, which is great. And $11.46 per jean is really good. That's like, it's like you're picking up $11 every time you pick up one. But you can see our listings have gone down $8.44. So we definitely got to get on the ball on that. The 100 listings, for those of you still playing along at home, we're right at 49 of those sold. We listed those 51 days ago from that video, which is just under 1 per day, which is still pretty good. We've sold basically half of them at this point, so I'm pretty happy with that. And, you know, this is the time of year, guys, when it's going to get weird. And what you sell is going to be a little strange. People are starting to go indoors more. But that also means they're going to shop online more because it's cold in a lot of parts of the country and bad weather. So, like, we've sold a couple weird things lately. We sold a bathing suit the other day.
Yeah.
We sold the
Pair of shorts today.
Pair of shorts today.
Brand new, right? From the bins.
From the bins. We sold the Victoria's Secret robe.
From the bins.
Yes, from the bins, the Victoria's Secret robe. It was not like one of the super awesome robes, but it was nice. Yeah, that's about it. So that's all the weird stuff. So let me see what other questions are in here. I probably missed some.
Mrs. ABB, is she asking us if we're ready to bring someone else into the business? Yes, desperately. I think actually it will help.
Yeah, it's cool. And you know, guys, if you do ever decide to bring somebody else in your business and it doesn't work out, guess what? You can let them go. Mm-hmm. You know, I know some of you are going to say, oh, I can't do that to someone. It's like, that's really not the way it works when you're a business owner. You have to be objective about your business. And if your business dies off or you cannot keep this person busy, you can't justify that expense, you have to let them go. That's actually the right thing to do because you don't want to pull down your whole business because you're paying someone's salary or their wages and you can't really afford it. That doesn't make any sense. Let's see, what other questions were there? Oh, there will be some updates to the spreadsheet, guys. By the way, somebody was asking about graphs and so on. That's coming, actually. There's going to be a whole dashboard. I have actually hired a developer. Okay, hired a developer is a strong term.
Sounds fancy.
But I actually found somebody who's a developer, and they're going to do a little bit of work to it, and we'll release that version. And actually, all you really have to do is just incorporate the tab. You won't have to reinstall the whole sheet or anything. And, you know, so there's going to be some changes and updates coming to it as well. So I think that'll be kind of cool. You guys it'll be even better than what I have, honestly.
And some additional stuff you're going to put out into the universe,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, there's going to be we're working, guys. It's about halfway done. We're working on a PDF guide for free that's going to give you 10 denim brands, some numbers around them, a little bit of, you know, info, a fun fact or two, and what you can expect to sell them for. And we'll be releasing that as just a free PDF. We'll probably put it on Gumroad as well, and you can just download it and check that out. So hopefully that'll be kind of cool too. And I've resisted doing that because you guys know we don't like to just give you a brand and say, hey, go buy this brand, because it's not really that simple. But I do also, you know, at least if somebody wants to get started in jeans, the jeans listing video I have has had a lot of views and a lot of people watching it. So I know there's a lot of people out there interested. So I felt it was good to maybe create something that you guys could use to, you know, at least get you started, and you'll just take off from there. In no time at all, you'll be Pittsburgh Mike. Mm. What's up, Mike? Good to see you in the chat, buddy. Haven't seen you in a while.
Mr. Sadie asked something. Did I hear graphs? Yes.
Let's see. Prof, are you a full-time reseller? Well, yes. I actually consider myself a full-time businessman. Reselling is part of it, but it's not the only thing. What was that? Did you just go Austin Powers like Dr. Evil on me there?
I did, because you did.
Are you gonna you can get some sharks with freaking laser beams?
Yes.
If anybody knows that reference,
that one was easy.
That's an easy one. Let's see what else here.
Why do it for free?
Yeah. Why do it for free? I guess Brian's asking about the PDF. Well, the reason is, quite honestly, Brian, is just because I'm not giving you anything you couldn't go find on your own. But I'm giving you something that, you know, this is the way I look at it, guys, with information. Anything you buy, you get, or you acquire, anytime you pay for information, you're paying somebody to assemble it for you in a format that makes sense and is hopefully has what you need in it and so on. That's really what you're paying for. You're not really paying for the information, because the information is out there. I mean, the world's different now. It's there, but how much time and effort is it going to take you to go compile it? But with a PDF of denim brands, I mean, I'm not giving you anything that you couldn't go find on eBay in a couple hours. Honestly, you could.
But another thing for that particular PDF is that there are lists out there. Like,
Sure.
you got a computer, you can make a list. But what's cool about this one and why it took so long to make it was that you're basing it, there's that prof math again, you're basing it on your own history.
Right.
You know, you're not just pulling it out of thin air and saying, well, I think this particular 7 fam would work well. A big part of what you've done there is you've based it on your
my experiences, which by the way is by no means, you know, the whole market. But from what I've heard, you know, talking to other denim resellers and so on, I don't think I'm really that far off in my numbers. I think they're pretty similar. And, you know, there's always exceptions, but, you know, if I tell you that, you know, a particular brand, let's say it's Levi's, is going to sell for, you know, maybe 16 to 18 bucks, sort of bread and butter Levi's plus shipping, you're probably not going to go out there and find a bunch of Levi's that are going to sell for 50 that are pre-owned. I mean, there are some older vintage ones, and certain ones, but just kind of the run-of-the-mill ones are going to sell, you know, somewhere in a range like that. So it gives you something to go off of, and you know what you can expect to be somewhere in that range.
And it's subjective too, because we get asked all the time, you know, what jeans sell well for you? Well, we can put out this big long list, but not everybody can find them in their own area, right? And then people will come back and say, well, I bought American Eagle, Levi's, and whatever, and they're not selling. Well, I mean, you have to look at, well, what do you have them priced at? What do your pictures look like? Is it an auction? Is it not? Is it, you know, and there's so many variables. It's not, we can't just, you have to put your own spin on it. It's not, there's no like cookie cutter. So that's why you kind of give people the best information that you can and hope for the best.
That's exactly it. And, you know, I just try to do things, guys, that'll be helpful and that'll be informative. I mean, I have a teacher's heart, I think. And so anytime I can put something out in the universe that helps people, it helps me. I mean, it helps me, and it always helps me to learn it better. If I have to explain it to somebody, I have to really know it. And if I don't know it, I need to learn it better. And, you know, you never stop learning in this game. Somebody was talking about how brands will change. That's true, but denim's a little different. Denim does fall off here and there, but it can take many, many years. So, and I don't think some of the brands that are on this list are going to change that quickly. I'm not going to give you like a bunch of niche brands that, you know, you're only going to go find once in a blue moon and may or may not sell. I mean, that doesn't really make any sense. These are more sort of the bread and butter brands that I found and that I really enjoy finding.
Brian asks what your motivation is.
I just said it. It's teaching. You know, that's just, it's in my blood. It's in my heart. And anything I can help you guys learn, I get a lot of satisfaction out of it. I mean, I guess it's a selfish reason in some way, right? You know, because I get satisfaction out of it too. And I get the emails and the comments, and man, that pumps you up. When you do something, you put out a video or content, somebody says, man, what you did just really changed my whole perception on it. Or I'm thinking about this differently, or I'm doing this now or not doing that. Man, that is huge. I mean, that just makes my day, you know, and I get those and I live for those. So if you have those, send them to me. I will not turn them down. Let's see.
Well, and we talk about the community, and this is kind of an outlet. This is kind of, you know, some people paint, some people, you know, run 50 miles. I mean, this is a place where we can exchange ideas, and it's something different. Especially like there's something creative about some of the content. You know, we're getting ready to do a funny. We're going to record a sort of a tongue-in-cheek, you know, video here coming up about what you can or can't ship, and that's all I'm going to tell you about that. But you know, it's just it's an opportunity to exchange, participate in community, and the whole teaching, because we both have a teacher background, so
right, and
that means a lot.
I'm a believer in two guys. You know, I heard this quote not too long ago. It said, "If you never give anything away, you'll never be able to get anything else." I actually believe that. You can't just hold everything into yourself. It doesn't really work that way. And what's the point of knowing something if you can't share it with others? I mean, you know, it's good to be able to share things with each other. I mean, that's how you build a community. And the strange thing is, every time I share something with somebody, like offline, like, some of the other resellers I talk to, or somebody will message me and we're having a little conversation. They'll say something or say it in a way that I had never thought of. And I went, man, I never really put it together like that. Like, you are right. So I end up learning something right back, and I didn't even anticipate it. But I should anticipate it, because every time I go into those conversations, I end up learning something. Like last night with Dawn and Tino, I didn't know them. I mean, we literally had a few email exchanges before they came on the show, and we tested the equipment. But here they come with their perspective on it and how they're doing it, and it was different than what I do. And it's like, I'm going to take some of that and probably incorporate that mentality into my business. So I don't know. I just think I think you got to give stuff away, guys, to get new stuff. I mean, you got to give to get. It's just the way it works. Let's see what else is going on here. Yvonne says, I don't think I'd make it without the community to interact with. That's true, Yvonne. I mean, what good is being in business for yourself if you can't share it with others and, see how others are doing it and make a connection? I mean, I think that's huge. Let's see. Spikey says, do you mean YouTube or elsewhere? Well, YouTube's a whole nother animal, but YouTube started out one way for me, and it's morphed and evolved about 15 different times. I'm sure it will some more.
And no, Brian, there will be no spreading too thin.
Mm-mm.
Because the bottom line for us is the business, and the business is behind us. It's listing those jeans and
oh yeah, I mean,
all that stuff. So
if the commitment wasn't, was killing me, I mean, I would just shut this down, because, it's not paying the bills. It's not going to be, something that's, and I'd hate it, because I miss all you guys terribly. But at the same time, if it was the right business decision to do because of the time and energy I was putting into it, absolutely, I would do it. Ian says,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you said no. Okay. Yeah. Ian asked if the live video with Steve Rakin tonight. No, that's next week, Ian.
Wednesday?
It's going to be in the afternoon, the video. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Wednesday at 2?
Wednesday. Yeah. Where's my planner app? Oh, there it is. See, I have a planner app now. I'm that old.
I'll entertain while you look it up.
Thanks there.
Bananas.
Vanna. So yeah, the show with Rakin is Tuesday at 2:00. So we will have Mr. Rakin on. So bring your questions about the 8 million business things that Steve is involved in, because man, he has got it going on. And then Luke is on 9:00 on Monday night. So we got show on Monday, show on Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday. Sorry.
And then another show Thursday with 2 brand new resellers, the Connect show. So we got plenty of shows. You can get your PROF fix.
And so when that happens, we're doing the shows at night. So so it's going to be a full week. We're going to try to not always do it that way. Right.
Right. John says, I just hit bust below 0. My only seller account is eBay, $80,000 selling limit, 0 inventory, no cash. Where do you recommend I go from here? That's a tough question, John, because I don't know all your whole circumstances.
That's a big question right there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there or where you're at, but I would look into getting a job and starting back part-time. Go live a job as part of someone else's dream for a little while, so you can get back to your dream as soon as you can.
Well, and if it, as far as the specifics go, did the show get did the channel get yanked because of something wrong where they shut him down and he has to start a new channel?
Hard to say. I think he's talking about eBay.
Gotcha. Right, but eBay can eject you too if you.
Right. But we don't know. But and everybody's got their personal situation. But you do what you got to do to survive, and then later thrive. But survive is first. Let's see what else we got here. Chrissy says, I'm a truck driver. I picked up the bins before I even knew what they were. Picked up in South Carolina, I believe Spartanburg. They do put clothes away in the back and put something in them. Press them together and get them prepped for shipping and recycling.
Oh, so yeah. He's like, Chris is the truck driver that moves the compressed
I think it's
stuff.
a she. It's hard to see. Yeah, I think it's a she, actually. So
Sorry, Chris.
so yeah, so that's good information to know. So hopefully, you know, we actually have been to that Ben's, or did we go in that one in Spartanburg? I don't know what we did.
We didn't, or was that the?
There is one in Spartanburg. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we went to that.
We didn't go to that
but
one
we
yet.
will.
But we will. So we will see what happens with the Ben's. So guys, if you want to make 4K on eBay, find a way to build a better mousetrap in your business, and do it. Find a better way to source. Find a better way to price. Find a higher price item to list. You know, there's so many ways you can do it, but don't be stubborn and think that the way you're doing it now is the only correct way, like I did for 6 months, and cheat yourself out of $4,000. You know, and it could have been more. It could have been more, because I could have flipped more capital over and turned even more inventory. So really, it's even more than that. All right. So anyway, that's going to do it for this show, I think, Karin.
Yes.
So if you guys like the content, leave me a comment or question down below. And what else should they do if they like the content, Karin?
If you like it, smash it.
The like button, and lets us know on YouTube that we did a good job, and we appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming on today. There'll be a link to subscribe to Prof Sales in the top of the show, or the top of the screen, so you can get your Prof Sales fix and your Karin fix. I think people are getting more of a Karin fix than a Prof Sales fix.
I'm the fun one.
That's true. But anyway, but I think that's going to do it for this show, guys. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great weekend. We're going to try to survive. We're going to go build an igloo in the backyard once the snow comes.
Oh yeah, we'll take pictures and we'll share. Are we going to come back on Monday?
We better feed the sled dogs, just in case.
No nooks.
All right. Anyway, that's going to do it for today, guys. So I am Prof Sales.
And I'm Karin.
Saying
good sales to you.